I designed, sampled, and had this short ready for production in just 28 days. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did so that you can recreate the same thing for your clothing brand. Step one when you're creating a product is you need to have an idea. And this is probably self-explanatory, but you need to have some sort of inspiration. For me, I run a natural fiber clothing brand called Wayve, and I make short, like 4 to 5 inch inseam shorts. And I got a lot of feedback from people that wanted longer inseam options. So I was trying to think of creative ways to do it, and it kind of brought me back to my childhood, like the 2000s era of the NBA and one culture, and I wanted to make shorts that kind of pay homage to that era. I drew inspiration from that, and that's where I actually went out and started sketching. I started looking on Pinterest and trying to find inspiration to pull from. I'm not an artist or anything, but I basically just took a few attempts at sketching this and sketched it out in a notebook. And I think this is really step one when you're trying to create a new product. You need to draw it out and see what it looks like. So here you can see, this is what my sketch was. I had the waistband here with the inner drawstrings, my logo on the bottom here, and then I had this curved design, and I wanted to add some pockets here. And you can see I showed the front, the side, and the back, so I can get an idea of what this would look like and what kind of details I really wanted to get out of it. So when I'm sketching out my design, I'm really thinking about what are the key details that I want to incorporate into this, right? What's the fabric? What's the silhouette? What do I really want it to feel like? Do I have color ideas? And then just putting pencil or pen to paper, it really helps you kind of visualize how it could look in real life. And that's when you can go and make different tweaks to it. Step two is bringing it to a digital version of a sketch, something called a mock-up. So you can either hire someone to do this or you can learn how to do it yourself. I'd recommend learning to do it yourself because it's not that hard and it's a good skill to have. I took the sketch that I had and really just turned it into a mock-up in Procreate on my iPad, and then I just added different colors. And so you can see here I have the red, this kind of like wine color, and it looks exactly like my sketch. And so here I wanted to add like top stitching details in white. I thought that would look cool. Have the drawstring here, my real logo right there. And then let me pull up some of the other colorways that I had. I did one in black and white also, so you can kind of see what that looks like, and you can play around and experiment and see what looks good. I also did one in this like North Carolina, like navy, light blue type of colorway, which I think turned out pretty sweet. And yeah, this is where you can really experiment, have fun, see what works. There's no right or wrong answer here, and this is like very low stakes. So that's kind of what it looks like with the mock-up. I'm gonna take you to my computer and then I'll show you what the tech pack looks like, which is really the next step of the process. You can think of a tech pack as kind of like a blueprint for your clothing manufacturer. Same way you'd give a blueprint to a construction company before they build a house, you have to give this tech pack to your clothing manufacturer before they can go ahead and cut and sew your garment. And the more detailed you are, the better the results will be, and the fewer sample iterations you're gonna have to make, the fewer samples you're gonna have to pay for, and overall the better experience and faster time to market you're gonna have. So welcome to my computer. I wanted to just kind of go through the tech pack that I made. This is literally the exact tech pack that I sent to my manufacturer to create these shorts that I just showed you. So let's go straight into it. This is kind of an intro page that I like to personally have when I send a tech pack to anyone. Just has some basic brand information about what I do, just to make sure that they know what I'm all about, what my values are, and just a good reminder. This is totally optional, but this is kind of the first page of the tech pack where you have exactly what you took from your mockup. So I just took Procreate mockups that I created, put them in here, and labeled them as the front, the side, and the back view. And this way it's super clear to them kind of what I'm thinking and what I envision as the end result. And it helps them also make sure that they're creating the product that I want them to create, right? Other small details here, I just have the brand name, kind of some details about the style, the collection, material, what kind of sizes I want to include, and then just a short description about what this garment is all about. The next page is all about the fabric content. So this is going to look like gibberish to you, which it really is, because this is specific to my manufacturer, and we have specific codes for the fabrics that we're using and the styles that we're using. But this is my quad short here on the left, and you can see this is my bestseller, and it has 2 types of fabric on it. I'm basically telling them I want to use this outer fabric for this basketball short, so use the same exact type of fabric, the same 230 GSM, 100% organic cotton, French terry fabric, and use that for this basketball short. If you're working with a new manufacturer, if you don't have the same type of relationship, then you just specify exactly basically what's up here, right? You want to specify the fabric content, the weight, the knit structure. If you want to add any finishes like special washes or distressing or anything like that, mention it here and make it super clear what you're looking for. From here, I kind of go into detail pages where I just take the mock-up and kind of have arrow callouts for different things that I think are really important. So anything about the drawstring, the pockets, the size of the embroidery logo that I want. If I want to call out, this accent color white top stitch instead of using the same black, making sure they know that this two-tone color is happening because I want them to cut and sew two pieces of fabric together to make this happen. So as many details as you can include here, you should include here. And the more detailed you are, the better it'll be, because things you don't specify and call out like explicitly, they're gonna have to go ahead and make assumptions about. And you know what they say about assuming, it makes an ass out of you and me. It's terrible. It leads to all these miscommunications. It leads to wasted money. It leads to wasted time. And so that's why having super, super, super clear tech packs is really important. That's going to help. What's going to help you really just like progress faster and make things that come out the way you want them to look. I did the same thing with the side and the back views, and so just added more details here. I won't go super in depth here, but you get the point. These other pages in the tech pack are probably not super relevant for the samples, because you probably don't need to do like a custom apparel bag for the sample, and you probably don't need to do a hang tag or custom labels for the sample. When you're doing a sample, what you really want to do is just make sure you're getting the fit right, the silhouette right, the colors right, all the details right. And then once you finalize that, that's when you can focus more on these smaller details that aren't going to affect the way the finished garment looks and feels, right? These are just like small things you add on top of it, like the main labels, the care labels, things like that. So I have it here, and I think it's good to have in your tech pack, so when it is time to go to production, you have it all ready. But most of the time your manufacturer will probably skip this, and that's fine for the sake of the sample. And this is where it gets really interesting. This is where, if you're trying to create custom pieces, you have to be super detailed in this step of the tech pack. This is the measurements page where you're including all of the measurements that you want them to use in order for them to then take these measurements. They create pattern pieces, which is basically them taking a roll of fabric. They cut out each little, component of the garment, and then they'll take that and sew it together, and that's how it becomes the end product. So you have to be really specific with all these measurements, and that's why I call it out with these lines and letters, and then just put a table on the right side and tell them exactly what I'm looking for. So anything from, even the gap between the waistband to where I want this white part to be. Same thing with this gap here on letter H. The waist width, the hip width, the thigh width, the leg opening, everything. The more detailed you can be, the better. And it's going to really go a long way to make sure you can nail your sample first time. So do it for the front, the side view, the back, if you need something specific from the back, and then have them go and create the patterns. And yeah, this is really how it's done. I'm going to show you now. I'm going to get out of my computer and show you kind of like how I took a reference piece and was able to turn it into these measurements. So it's not really a science, I would say. It's more of like an art, and just kind of having like an intuitive feel for it. So this is basically what the tech pack looks like. You can add some more pages if you need. You can remove some pages if you don't need them. This is what I use for Wayve for all of my products. And yeah, this is exactly what I sent to my manufacturer, and it came out perfect. So it works. But yeah, anyway, let's get back to the real garment. You don't really need to use the same type of garment to make these measurements, right? Like, I'm making basketball shorts, but I found these cargo shorts that I had in my closet and I really liked. Specifically, I really liked the way they fit and the length of them, and kind of like just how baggy they were. So I took this as a reference and just took measurements and used that in my tech pack. So basically lay it flat on the ground, take measurements from different points like the waist, the rise, you know, the leg opening, the thigh measurements, everything you can really think of, and make adjustments from there. If you want it a little looser in one place, make it looser there, add a few centimeters. If you want to make it tighter, bring in a few centimeters. So after you send your manufacturer your tech pack, after you agree on pricing, after they actually make it, you're gonna get a package in the mail, you're gonna open it up, and it's gonna look something like this. So for me, 3 weeks later, I got this package in the mail. It took them 2 weeks to cut and sew, a week for shipping, and then it's crazy. I got this in hand and it looks pretty much exactly like the mock-up that I had. Here's the front and the back. And honestly, they kind of crushed it. I won't even lie. You can see they have the side slit. Like I said, they got this curvature on the side with the white spot. They have the inner drawstrings that came out exactly how I wanted. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty good. In all honesty, I would probably change the top stitching. I don't really like how the white came out. It kind of makes it look a little cheap and kind of like an accident. So I'd probably just have them switch this to be the same red color as the short and have it basically dyed to match the color of the short. But otherwise the fit came out perfect. The colors came out perfect, all the details came out perfect, and that's all thanks to a very solid tech pack and clear communication with your manufacturer. So it's really from knowing in your head exactly what you want and then putting it very clearly in a spec sheet or a tech pack and then communicating that to your manufacturer. That's where you're gonna really lock in, and that's where you're gonna create clothes that come out exactly how you imagine them to. So in 28 days, I was able to take an idea in my head into a physical sample and something that's really ready to place a bulk order for and receive in a couple months. I'm not special or anything. I have no fashion experience before this. I have no e-com experience. I don't speak Chinese. I don't do anything crazy. I just took the time to learn how this process works. I've paid people to do it for me, and I've learned from their work, I've learned from my own mistakes, and now I'm here just sharing it with you, trying to make this easier for you as you go through it on your own. And again, you can really repeat the same process and get the same result as me. Like, it takes about a month in order to get a physical sample in hand if you can move quickly. It might take a little bit longer if you need to find a new manufacturer, but honestly, it's pretty simple to do if you know what to look for and how to communicate with them. But yeah, if you're starting a clothing brand and you feel a little overwhelmed with all this, I work with a few people one-on-one and kind of help them through the whole process, where I can help them with doing exactly what I showed you today. So if you want to learn more about that, click the link in the description and we can set up a free call and talk through exactly where you're at and what you need help with. This is really the same process I follow for Wayve with all of my garments, and at this point I'm creating all the tech packs myself and doing all the design work myself, and it's been a lot of fun and a lot of learning that I've taken from a few years ago when I didn't even know what anything was when it came to clothing. But yeah, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It helps a lot as I'm growing this channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace.